Hi and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. We're back this week for another Mum Boss at Home community check-in. I got a 96% check-in rate this week, so well done everyone that checked in. There was just one person that didn't. Oh no. I was a bit upset, but it's okay. So a lot to get through. I want to try and keep this under an hour. Don't forget, if you want to know how you can be part of the Mum Boss at Home community, you can check out the notes in the show description and find out more about how. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm really sorry about my absolutely crazy hair. I've had my hair in French plaits all weekend and I took it out this morning and boy, it makes me look mad. So let's have a little go through all of these then and see what the wins are. So Laura had her breakfast shake on Saturday morning, which is amazing because Laura had been skipping breakfast. So well done. Jackie is so much less hungry than before. Claire has found a new passion for exercise, which is amazing because one of Claire's biggest goals was to get moving more and she really wasn't enjoying that. So well done, Claire. Amy made herself a fake away when she was really craving a takeaway. Well done. Sona got 3 workouts in. Jackie P has been out walking a lot more. Yes, you have. You shared pictures of you walking the dog over the weekend. Emma kept to her tracking despite an emotional week. Sarah managed a 2-mile run on the treadmill, which is good for her. Amazing, well done. Natalie went for a walk in the middle of her conference in -7 in Sweden. She only managed 20 minutes, but because she had to get back for the next session, but it was better than nothing. And on Saturday she went for a long dog walk. This is amazing, Natalie, because you've been injured as well, so really proud of you. Oh, and she did her at-home workout as well, so well done. Lisa's sleep has been much better since using meditation. Jamie feels like her week was much better than the first week. She did 3 workouts and a swim. She got her steps and water in most days, and she's loving that her all or nothing mindset is getting better each week. Amazing. Michelle finally came back to boot camp. Yes, she did. She snacked less and reintroduced protein powder. Steph feels like she stepped up more with exercise this week. She did 4 workouts and a bigger push on her steps. She hasn't felt as unfit this week, less breathless, and she's felt much stronger. And she's also seeing small changes in her body, which is huge motivation. And I can also confirm I am seeing small changes in Steph's body as well, so well done. Jack ate breakfast and made meals each night. She's had a really tricky week, so she's loving that she could have easily just sacked off boot camp, but she did it. And she did an 8-mile run at the end of the week, so well done, Jack. Julie has been hitting her fruit and veg target of at least 5 portions a day, and she just found that just adding them to meals was a winning for her. Hannah's win is scheduling me time. This is huge for Hannah because it's something that she finds really difficult. She went and got her hair blow dried on Friday, which was a real treat. Love that. And then on Sunday she took some time to meal plan for the whole week, all 3 meals for every day, including the amount of protein that she's having. So she stepped up her meal planning, so it's not just about what her meals are but how much protein she's getting in as well. So she's layering on with the habits, which is brilliant. Well done. Sonal has broken the bad habit of eating chocolate and crisps on her way home from work in the car. That's a huge win, as she's been trying to break that for over a year. Well done, Sonal. And now she takes an apple and nuts in her bag, and she's also making healthy choices when she's eating. Well done, Sonal. Tracy's had a tricky week with her son being ill, and what she has noticed is that she's not given up when things haven't gone to plan like she normally would. She's feeling much more focused and driven, and she can see that even if she doesn't smash her targets, something is always better than a big fat nothing, which I love. Yes, well done. Helen's tracked every day. She didn't do her takeaway on Saturday. She knew it would be over, but she didn't overeat and was within calories most days. Well done, Helen. Lynn's biggest wins are that steps and movement in general have been good. Claire's been trying new protein-rich foods like tofu and hitting her protein target each day, and has had a super active week. And we've been sharing loads of recipes and tips and everything, which has been amazing. So love that. Stacey managed to get steps in despite a sitting down week. Love that, Stacey. Well done. Denise managed to stay the same on the scales even though she had a tough few days, and she got out for a walk even though she didn't want to. Well done, Denise. Emma's been more conscious of adding protein and making protein choices when she hasn't stuck to plan. And Taya's been building up consistency, so there's more of the same from the first week. So she's forming habits. AM and PM routines are down. Protein is better. Fruit and veg is better. Water is good. Steps are good. She's feeling really good. Her body feels good. And she's feeling much more prepped and organised, and is enjoying tracking in MyFitnessPal. So she's generally really happy. Well done. Okay, we've got a few themes here on challenges and questions. So I want to start with sleep, because a few of you have asked for tips on sleep and saying that you're still finding that really challenging. So one person has said time, work, stress, sleep are all connected. So this is my first point around sleep, okay, is I can give you all the tips, all the techniques, all the free downloads and meditations and yoga nidras. But if there is an underlying cause for your sleep issues, such as stress, such as kids, and I've said this before, I can't cure the kids waking up in the middle of the night, unfortunately, such as noise going on, such as the husband snoring, I can give you all the tips, but if there's something external causing the sleep issues, and by that I mean it's external versus it's actual insomnia, or it's a perimenopause symptom, or you're just a really, light sleeper, or you lie awake for ages. If there's an external reason for it, we need to address the external reason. Otherwise, we're just putting a sticking plaster over it. Okay, so it, by the sounds of it, work for this person is causing time issues, it's causing stress issues, and all of those things are causing sleep issues. You've said in the next box, work is the excuse you've made as usual, but you need to delegate more, and sleep is difficult still. My question for you to ponder is your work causing you stress that you're taking to bed with you at night? Because, like I say, we can throw as much at this wall as we want, but only so much of it will stick if we're not dealing with the actual issue. Okay, so that's something for you to think about. That being said, some of you are also experiencing some sleep issues, so I just want to make sure that I am just acknowledging those and giving you some thoughts. So I know that one of you's had a bit of trouble with sleep because of an ill child and the car alarm going off several times, but you did also stick to being in bed by 12, so well done. Okay, another person, I'm averaging 7 to 7.5 hours, but I find it hard to go upstairs before 10 p.m. and then it takes you a while to get ready for bed, plus you're not tired enough for sleep until 10:30, 11ish. If you're getting up early for workouts and runs, that's at 6 a.m, then you're maybe not getting quite enough sleep. But if you don't get up for exercise, you're getting up at 7:15 to get your son ready for school. So you should get 8 hours easily, but your app is saying you haven't. You think you really need to plan night times more if you know you're getting up at 6. So there's a couple of things here. Firstly, I want everyone to be really careful of the apps and your smartwatches and your devices that tell you how much sleep you're getting, okay? I used to wear something called a Whoop band. I wouldn't recommend you look into it. They're very expensive, and actually they gave me really, really bad sleep anxiety. And my app would tell me, my Whoop band would tell me that I'd only got 2 hours of sleep on a day that I maybe woke up feeling really refreshed. And that just, then I'd talk myself, I'd tell myself a story. Oh, well, I've only had 2 hours of quality sleep, so I must be really tired. But actually, when I woke up, before I checked my app, I felt fine. So be really careful of how much you're taking notice of your apps, okay? Because at the end of the day, they are on our wrists. They, to really, if you're suspected as suffering with a sleep disorder like sleep apnea or something, they will take you in, they will put devices on you and like monitor you properly during sleep. This is on your wrist, where your device is on your wrist. It's a guesstimate. It's a good, maybe it's a bit like steps. Absolutely, these things are great for steps. What are they useless for? Calories. No, we don't use our devices to track our calories. So that's my first thing, is be really wary of using your watch and going by that data as being absolute gospel, okay? The second thing I want to say, and this is for everyone as well, is this person's example is, for me, you're getting up and going to bed at different times every day, and you're not going to like this answer, everyone, because I know in your head you're thinking, oh, I don't have to get up till 7:15 tomorrow so I can get a bit more sleep. But actually, we are just giant babies, and what do babies need when it comes to sleep? They need routine. We're giant babies, we need routine too. So our circadian rhythm works on creating what's called a sleep drive, and that sleep drive is built through being awake for a certain amount of hours, being active, exercising, all of those things. If you're not creating enough of a sleep drive, then you won't be tired at the time you want to go to bed. And by getting up and going to bed at different times every day, you are confusing the circadian rhythm. So I would try to find a happy medium if I were you, okay? And that feels like such a bitter pill to swallow, to say, so you're telling me, Chrissy, I need to get up at 6 a.m. every day, even though some days I don't need to. I'm not telling you have to. You're a grown-up, you can make your own choice, but the research tells us that having a regular wake time and sleep time is the best way of creating better quality sleep. So that's something to think about. Then in terms of some of the other things that people have said about sleep, so having a really strong nighttime routine. So this person as well said, I go upstairs by 10 o'clock and then I'm getting ready for bed. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock. So for me, I am, as soon as I know I don't have to go out again, I'm in my pajamas. My makeup is off, my teeth are brushed as soon as I've finished eating. And so that when I go upstairs to bed, I know all I need to do is maybe use the bathroom and then go get into bed. So where possible, get yourself ready for bed before you actually have to go up to bed. Because that act of going through the washing your face and stuff can sometimes wake you up. Trying not to use screens too soon before bed, not watching TV too soon before bed. And as well, doing some things that really kind of wind you down. So it could be reading, it could be listening to a sleep meditation, it could be doing some breathing exercises. So doing those things that really wind you down. If you do struggle with sleep, please do not have caffeine after midday. And please be aware that even decafs will have some caffeine in them. Some people often get caught out by green tea. Green tea has caffeine in it, so if you're drinking green tea at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, that has caffeine in it. Excuse me. So just be really careful with that. But my two biggest takeaways on sleep are get to the root cause and regular sleep and wake times, which, as I say, I know that some of you are really not going to like. yeah, I think, and just remembering that sleep will have an impact on your ability to do your workouts, to do your steps, to have the energy to plan your food, to fight your cravings and things like that. So trying to make your sleep consistent is really important. If you are perimenopausal, or you think you might be perimenopausal but you're not sure, firstly I would do some symptom tracking, not just cycle tracking but symptom tracking. My menopause journal has a symptom tracker in it, so there are thought to be almost 100 symptoms of the perimenopause, and often not many of them are talked about, but lack of sleep or sleep interruption is one of them. So I would be symptom tracking, because that way you can take your evidence to your GP and talk about treatment options. Okay. Other challenges. Okay, a couple of you have said you didn't work out and your challenges are workouts or lack of them. Some of you, you've said that you were really on it when you worked on the 5-day reset, but you've struggled since then. What else have we got? We've also got that people didn't work out because they didn't feel emotionally or physically 100%. So if you're not feeling 100% physically well, you don't need to work out. If you want to try and get your steps in, great, as long as you can lift your head off the pillow, but you shouldn't be working out if you're ill. I had another one, I've lost it now. Where's it gone? Here it is. Not getting those workouts in, or using tiredness as an excuse not to work out. So all of the reasons why people aren't working out here, apart from being ill. So if you haven't done a workout this week and you are not ill, all of your reasons or excuses are reasons to work out. Okay, so some of you are waiting for motivation. Motivation will not come and bite you on the bum. Okay, it's not going to. It's a myth. Okay, some of you are feeling stressed. Some of you are going through some emotional times. Some of you are feeling tired. Movement is the antidote for all of those things. So your emotions, your tiredness, your motivation are helped by movement. It is the antidote for all of those things. Now, don't forget, all of the habits you are learning working with me are habits you have to maintain for the rest of your life to have a healthy life. And working out is really vitally important for your health, especially as a woman. It's vitally important for everyone, but it's important for your health. Okay, so apart from a calorie deficit, if fat loss is your goal, this is something you need to do, a recommended 3 times a week for the rest of your life. So by not doing it, by not having started it yet, you are now another week further away from your goal. Okay, so I want you to think about that. I want you to stop waiting for motivation. And what I want you to do is really ask yourself, what is truly getting in the way here? What is truly getting in the way here? I want you to ask yourself a hard question. I don't want any superficial answers, right? And I'm not expecting you to give me these answers on our WhatsApp group unless you want to. But what is really stopping you? Because you need to understand what's really stopping you, and you need to understand why it's important for you to do it, and you need to find out what the mismatch is here. Okay, so I just don't like working out. I can't be bothered. I'm scared I'm going to hurt myself. What is the reason? What is the true reason? And be really brutally honest with yourself. It's time to take some radical responsibility and stop procrastinating and stop giving excuses. Utilize the group. I've shared today in our WhatsApp group a tracker for everyone to use on their social media. Utilize the group, utilize that support, utilize that accountability. Yes, I'm here, but there are 27 other people in that WhatsApp group who can help to keep you accountable. But you need to really, really be honest with yourself about what's going on, because all the excuses I'm reading, apart from illness, they are excuses. They're not good reasons to not work out. So you need to answer yourself, what is truly going on? Why are you not doing it? Okay, how can you expect to build a habit if you don't take the action? So that's my little bit of tough love on that one. Okay, so we've had a few people are saying eating too much sweet stuff, sugar cravings, PMS at munchies. What else have we had? Despite having good meals, I gave in to sweet cravings too many times. I'm due on, and sometimes I haven't slept that well this week, combined with having deadlines at work and a stressful week. So I felt like I just needed chocolate. I've listened to you talk about this before, so I know this is an excuse rather than the hormones. Great self-awareness there, being a genuine reason for the sweet craving, but I gave in anyway. Okay, here's the thing. It is really common for women to crave sugar when they're due on, but let's be really clear. You don't need, whether it's PMS, whether it is stress, upset, grief, anger, sadness, happiness, you do not need chocolate. That's a story you're telling yourself. So you don't need the chocolate. So let's change the language, first of all, because we don't need the chocolate. You just want the chocolate. Okay? Now, at no point am I telling you you need to ban the sweet stuff. I don't believe in giving up sugar. I don't believe in cutting it out. I don't care what Tim Spector says. Right? You do not need to cut out sugar. But your reliance on sugar to get you through tiredness, to get you through stress, to get you through emotion, to get you through anger, whatever it is, to get you through the procrastination of dealing with something you don't want to deal with at work, that sugar is not actually going to solve the problem. Okay, so tiredness, right? We know our bodies, a lot of people have talked about tiredness. That probably will then link into you wanting more either sweet stuff or highly processed carby food, right? Which essentially is sugar and fat. That sugar, to get you through the tiredness, will spike up your blood glucose. It will spike up your dopamine. Fine, both perfectly normal processes within the body. But then what will happen is it will crash back down. So what will you want? You'll want more. Okay? But has it actually solved the problem of you being tired? No, it hasn't. You're still going to be tired. So what else could you do? You could get outside for 5 minutes of fresh air. You could go for a quick walk. You could take a little break. I did that before I started this podcast. I took a little break off to the side there and read my book for 15 minutes. You could have a hot drink. Okay, you could have some fruit. These are the things, but you know, and long term, if the big problem is sleep, then we need to address the sleep. Okay, what about you're feeling a strong emotion, stress, anger, frustration, upset, sadness, grief, happiness, right? Is that drive to eat something going to fix that emotion? You're stressed at work. Is eating a biscuit going to make the stress go away? No. Might make you feel better for 5 minutes, but it's temporary. It's not going to fix the issue. It's just your way of not dealing with the issue and trying to make yourself feel better in the time. So it's not going to fix it. So what can you do? What can you do instead? Is it that you need to go and have a chat with someone? Even if it's not someone that can do anything about the situation. Is it again that you need to take a break, take a walk? Again, I'm not saying ban the biscuits, ban the crisps, ban the chocolate. But if you are already recognizing in yourself that you're eating too much of that stuff, then the likelihood is you need to find a way of dealing with the issue that isn't eating that stuff. Okay. You don't need to cut it out completely. A couple of people have said that they've reduced it. Initially, like, they were a bit irritable and low mood, but that subsided. I do recommend you try to reduce it. I wouldn't say that you need to like start finding substitutes for it, but if you want a couple of ideas for just, we always have it. Lots of us find we have a dessert belly, so we're full up from dinner or lunch, but we always want something a bit sweet afterwards. And there are a few things that, fruit is great, but you can buy low calorie jellies. You can buy protein yogurts and things like that you can have after your main meals to take off that craving for the sweet thing. But it's very different having that little dessert belly to using sugar or crisps or whatever as a way of dealing with PMS or emotions or tiredness. Okay, so thinking about what it is that you really need in that moment. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes for anyone that's not in the at-home community, and I'll share this with you all in the WhatsApp group. I do have on my website a food and mood journal which I use with people for emotional eating, so that might be really useful. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, couple of you still finding weekends a challenge. There was a couple of people who had takeaways, and that's fine. Takeaways are fine. Let me read one of these out. So weekends are still a challenge. On Friday I went out with a friend for coffee and cake, and in the evening I had 2 glasses of Prosecco and half a pizza, so it was a calorific day. Progress over perfection though. Before I would have eaten a whole pizza, absolutely, and I remember when you used to eat a whole pizza, so well done. The Turkish takeaway was lamb and chicken shish with a small amount of rice, also halloumi and hummus, etc. Lots of protein and low fat. It probably would have been quite high fat with halloumi and hummus, and what is put on the lamb and the chicken, but that's fine. It was a high calorie meal. It's hard to keep within calories when seeing friends having takeaway. Okay, so a few of you have mentioned the weekends as being a bit of a struggle, so I want to just make this statement to you. Do you remember when we started this, and those of you that aren't in the community will have heard me say this a lot of times. I want you to aim for like 80% consistency. Okay, so 80% of your week should be consistently ticking your boxes. Brilliant. 80 to 90%, great. Your weekends, let's say you start your weekend at Friday lunchtime, your weekends are 30 to 35% of your week. That's a lot of your week, a third of your week. Okay, so if you are constantly not able to tick the boxes at the weekend, that is quite a big amount of your weekend to be writing off. And that's not what I'm saying you've done here. I'm using it as an example. Yes, it is hard to stay within your calories at the weekend when you're seeing friends and having takeaways. But here's a couple of things to help you. Okay, firstly, think about compromise, not sacrifice. What might that look like in this example that this person has given? So that might be, well, still meeting a friend, but do you have to have cake? Do you have to have the cake? What's the most important part of meeting a friend? Meeting the friend, right? So does it have to include the cake? And you might say, yes, it does. Okay, so where's the compromise? Do you have to have 2 glasses of Prosecco and half a pizza? Could it have been 1 glass of Prosecco? Do you have to have the Prosecco? Turkish takeaway. Do you have to have the lamb and the chicken? Could you have had something different? Do you have, in the context of that whole weekend, a takeaway, coffee and cake, prosecco and half a pizza? What could you have compromised on? Okay, actually Turkish is quite a good takeaway to have, but if we're constantly in this mindset of, well, it's the weekend, then we're constantly in the mindset of it's the weekend. It's still part of the week. So this is where that thing around not saving all your treats till the weekend, because you just get into this, oh, it's the weekend, I can go crazy mindset. We all want to be able to eat and drink whatever we want and still achieve our health goals and fit into the clothes that we want to. But unfortunately, that isn't reality. So there does need to be some compromise. Now, another way that you can apply compromise, but I want you to be really careful with this, so this is another tool, is calorie borrowing. Okay, so let's say your maintenance calories are 2,000. I will have put you all in roughly a 500 calorie deficit, depending on your activity levels, right? So let's say your calorie range is 1,500 to 1,600, okay? And you know that this weekend coming, you're having coffee and cake with your friend, you want to have a couple of glasses of Prosecco and half a pizza on Friday night, and on Saturday night you want to have a Turkish takeaway. You know the Turkish takeaway is probably going to be quite highly calorific. And you also know Friday might be highly calorific. So what you could do is you could borrow calories from the other days of the week. However, I would say you don't borrow more than 150 calories per day. But if you borrowed calories on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's 600 calories that you've then got to add on to your weekend. Now, why don't I want you to borrow more than 150 calories a day? Because we're then getting into being really restrictive Monday to Thursday in order to go a bit madder at the weekend. Okay, now this is fine. Your calorie allowance is an allowance for the week. So you can chop off those 150 calories each day and save them for the weekend, because you know you tend to eat a bit more at the weekend. That's fine. But that's where your compromise is. Your compromise is, right, well, then I need to take 150 calories off of the other days. Or your compromise is, well, I'm okay with this, but I need to understand that my results will be slower because Chrissy's put me in roughly a 500 calorie deficit, and at the weekend I'm probably cancelling out that deficit. So actually for those 2 days I'm not in a deficit, I'm only in a deficit for 5 days of the week. So your compromise is your results. Do you see what I mean? So it's not sacrifice, it's compromise. We could compromise on our choices for that weekend. We could compromise on our calorie borrowing to allow us to have that freedom at the weekend, or we can compromise on the results and understand they might be slower. Okay? That's great. So I hope that really helps. But like I say, there is nothing wrong with eating out or having takeaways, and you can pick really protein rich, loads of fruit and vegetable takeaways. That's fine. Something like a Turkish is great. It's really easy to get protein and loads of veggies. Fish and chips, maybe not so much. But look at it in the context of your whole week. Look at it in the consistency of your whole week. Okay, what else do we need to have a look at? Let's see what else there is. I don't think there were any... okay, so just an excuse, not wanting to go outside when it's cold, trying to plan activity rather than find the motivation this week. I've already addressed motivation. Don't wait for motivation. You have to take the action. And then someone's put, finding excuses not to pay the extra £5 to put my son in childcare to get to your boot camp on a Wednesday, which is stupid when you spend £5 on several things that are much likely less important. I think that's a really good reframe. What is something I spend £5 on a week that actually is not moving me towards my goals? I'd love to have you at my boot camp on a Wednesday. You are more than welcome. Also, don't feel nervous about an in-person workout, because I have all abilities and ages, and some of the ladies in this group come to Wednesday boot camp as well. So, okay, we had a couple of you that were away for work, but you managed that, which is really good. Well done. After talking about workouts and periods and cycles, a few of you have commented on what you've noticed helps and hinders you with that, so well done for that. I think that's everything. Okay, still having issues with time to track food, time to make food, and with bedtime routine, which I've already addressed. So time, the enemy of most busy women, I think, unless you have loads of staff helping you. So time with tracking food, okay? If you're using MyFitnessPal, there are loads of shortcuts you can use in this. First thing I recommend is have the same one or two I have the same breakfast 6 days of the week, because it's easy and it's really super quick. So to save yourself time, have the same breakfast in MyFitnessPal and add it as a meal or a recipe, and then that way you literally have to add it one day. So on Sunday, pre-track your breakfast for the rest of the week. When it comes to lunches, have a selection of 2, maximum 3 lunches you can rotate around the week. Maybe the weekends look a bit different, but Monday to Friday, 2, maximum 3 lunches that you can rotate, okay? Make it really simple. Don't make it complicated. We don't need to be Michelin-starred chefs, okay? Sandwiches, wraps, roast vegetables and a salmon fillet. One of my favourite things to get from Aldi, they're £1.49. It's this little individual single serving tray of Mediterranean roasted vegetables. It goes in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. I serve that with a salmon fillet that I don't even heat up, because I don't mind the hot and cold. So on a busy day, that is my lunch. I can set the timer on the oven. My lunch is done within 30 minutes. All I have to do is open the salmon fillet and put it on top of the vegetables. Don't make it complicated. Again, with dinners, I shared yesterday. So for those of you listening on the podcast that aren't part of the home community, if this podcast hasn't made you want to join, then I don't know what will. But I shared the Batch Lady's Instagram yesterday, and I've been watching some of her meals. Meal planning and finding shortcuts, pre-chopped veg, frozen veg, steam cook bags of vegetables, all those things make things so much easier. But where can you make shortcuts? Where can you make things easier for yourself? Can you do a little bit of food prep in the morning whilst your son is getting ready for school? Can you, can you have to eat anyway? So my question is are you maybe making the food a little bit too complicated? Because before you worked with me, you were having to eat anyway, and I'm assuming your family had to eat anyway. So I would recommend you do a bit of planning, a bit of research, set aside 15 minutes, find a couple of recipes that are super quick to make. Ask in the group for some super quick recipes suggestions. Like some of my quickest recipes that I do are a stir fry with ready sliced up meat for the boys. They have ready sliced up beef, ready chopped stir fry vegetables, a ready made stir fry sauce, and ready cooked noodles. Like I get one of those meal deals from the supermarket where it's a stir fry for £8 or something, and then I just add in my protein as well because I don't eat beef. So Like, that takes me 15 minutes. £2 and 15 minutes on a Monday night. That is what we have. Another one, Thai green curry paste, tin of coconut milk, ready sliced stir fry vegetables, the same protein as the boys have in stir fries. £2, done. You don't even need to cook rice from scratch. You could buy microwave packets of rice. So it sounds like you're overcomplicating it, okay? Right, let's get on to the questions. I think... hold on before I do that. Someone needs a bit of tough love as well here. They keep telling themselves they'll start properly tomorrow. They don't eat regularly. They're working on building one habit at a time rather than overwhelmed, but still not really getting on with that. So here's my thing. Pick one thing, and I've given you all a challenge for this week. Pick one thing and do that one thing. Work on doing that every day. Okay, whether it's workouts, steps, protein, fruit and veg, water, pick one thing and do that for the next 7 days, and then we'll build on that from there. Okay, right, I need a sip. Okay. Right, we've talked about sweet stuff, PMS munchies. One thing to say about PMS munchies is this, right? Technically, when you've got PMS, you could eat about 200 calories more per day. However, if you are someone who says, I just can't stop eating when I've got PMS, and, 2 bars of chocolate won't do it, 10 biscuits won't do it, why bother starting? If 1 won't do it and 10 won't do it, why bother having any? That's just my thought process around PMS. Okay, let's get on to the questions. Natalie said, best flavoured protein powder to add to plain fat-free Greek yogurts in the morning, ideally strawberry one, and best free calorie tracker. Okay, so I am not your best person for protein powder, I'm afraid, because I don't eat whey protein powder. It doesn't sit nicely on my stomach, and I don't like the taste of it, any of it. I've tried so many. I use vegan protein powder. I also do not like anything strawberry flavoured or banana flavoured. I am either a vanilla or a chocolate girl when it comes to protein powder. So unfortunately, I don't have a good recommendation. So I would put that in the WhatsApp group if I were you, because the thought of drinking strawberry protein powder makes me want to be sick. The best free calorie tracker is MyFitnessPal. It's the one that's been going for the longest. It will try to get you to upgrade to the paid version. You don't need to. Okay, so mindset is massive when it comes to adopting healthy long-term habits. Do you have any suggestions on how to help keeping my head in the right space? I know the things I have to do. When I do it, I feel great, but I tend to slip back to old ways. So, what makes you slip back? Is it illness? Is it stress? Is it mood? Do you hit the button? What is it? And I would go back to, this is for anyone that finds they keep slipping back. Look, slip-ups are going to be normal. Stress is going to be normal. Curveballs are going to be normal. Not everything is going to be 100% perfect all of the time. It's impossible. Go back to your why. Go back to your why, right? I'll give you an example. Alcohol for me, okay? I used to be a massive drinker. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a couple of glasses of wine. I love a few glasses of champagne. I love a gin and tonic. I rarely drink more than a couple of drinks now, because the reason for not doing it is bigger than the reason for doing it. Okay, I feel dreadful. I do not sleep when I drink. I get terrible hangovers. I get terrible low mood. I run a business. So being tired, moody, and hungover whilst trying to support over 40 clients is impossible. So it has to be a really good reason for me to drink. My reason why is bigger than my reason why not. Do you see what I mean? So I would go back over your reasons why, but also, are you trying to do too many things? Because for many of you, you're really starting like at a level that you've never done this in terms of layering on these habits. But really go back to what is your reason why? Why do you want to do this? Unless you know your why, it makes doing the habits so much harder. So go back to that. Okay, so question here from Jamie. I want to know, is it okay to do the workouts on water and eventually do the walks? I know you'll say it's better to do something, but what if it takes 3 months to actually drink the water? I'm hoping it's not going to take you 3 months to drink 1 litre of water. Do the walks and the workouts. I think what you're saying is what if it's going to take me 3 months to get all of these habits under my belt? That's okay. If you're not getting to 1 litre of water a day, are you getting to half a litre? Like, as long as you keep trying to improve, you're seeking perfection. It's absolutely okay for this to take time. I would also think about how can you make these things smaller. So a walk doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It can be 10, for example. Okay, this question. As a bigger bottomed legged girl, is there anything more I can be doing to target these areas? Should I do more leg exercises in a week? I always find my weight loss always comes from my top half and my bottom half is always more of a struggle. Okay, this question is really common. Can you spot reduce fat? And this person comes to boot camp, so they will hear me talk about this all the time. The answer is no, you can't spot reduce fat. You can't decide where your body takes the fat from. As a bigger bottomed girl myself, who has absolutely nothing on the top, my weight all comes off from the top first. That, I will start to look thinner on my face. You'll see my collarbones more. You'll see the tone in my arms more before anything changes on my bottom and my thighs. So there's nothing you can do to do that. But stay consistent. And then there's part of this is learning to love and accept the way your body is built. Okay, I was looking at one of my friends' Instagrams today, and she has got killer legs, absolute killer quads, right? I am never going to have quads like that. I'm never going to have a thigh gap. I'm always going to have a big bottom, and that's okay because I've done the work over the years to really like the way that I look and work with what I've got, which is now why, I've got really strong legs. I've got really strong glutes. I can lift a lot with those. You can't spot reduce fat. Staying consistent, staying in your calorie deficit, keeping up your steps, keeping up your workouts, but also learning to accept your shape. You are naturally a pear-shaped lady. That is the most common shape of women. And also, rather than carrying extra fat around your tummy, which is the most dangerous area to carry it, you carry it in your hips, in your glutes, in your legs, which is where most women do. So you don't want it around your stomach because that's dangerous. But no, you can't spot reduce fat. Right, question here. Jack, this was from you, but it wasn't a full question. What do you think my water intake should be prior to? And I reckon you were probably going to say running. The rule of thumb that I always go by is to not be dehydrated on a longer run. Your wee should be clear. This is quite hard to achieve if you're running early in the morning because there's only a certain amount you can drink before you need to have a drink, before you then will need to go to the toilet whilst you're running. If I'm not answering the right question, let me know. Bloating, how do we ease it, and is that even possible? So bloating will come from water retention when it's PMS related, and there's not really a lot we can do about that. Gas bloating is when we've eaten something that maybe doesn't quite disagree with us, or we've got a bit of trapped wind. And the best way to ease that is movement. But PMS bloating is just water retention, and we really can't do much about that. Some guidance on non-meat sources of protein. I think we had quite a big conversation about this in the group. Adding things like beans, lentils, legumes, pulses into your diet is a great idea, because they're full of fibre, but they're also, so they're a protein source as well as a carbohydrate source. There is a payoff if you are adding in vegan or veggie meat substitutes, in that those things are highly processed. So for example, one of the things I like to use is fake chicken, right? I like to use the Vegetarian Butcher fake chicken in stir fries and like fake kebabs and stuff like that. That's great. Would I eat it every day? No, because it's really highly processed. So you have these kind of payoffs. So there is a payoff. Don't forget fish in there as well. You can include fish and seafood. You can hit your protein target on a non-meat based diet. I used to hit 120 grams of protein daily as a vegan, but that did include vegan protein powders and vegan meat substitutes as well. But adding things like beans, pulses, lentils are great. Edamame beans are amazing. I know Emma really likes those as well. So making sure that you're including those. But yes, just remembering the payoff between, there are substitutes if you want to go more down the substitute route, but they will be more processed. But definitely this is a question for the group as well. Okay, someone asked, confidence in the gym. I'm going to the gym and just sticking with the treadmill as a comfort zone, and I don't know how to come out of this. I'm conscious of people looking at me, doing something wrong or having bad form. Okay, my love, I get this. Firstly, I recorded a podcast on this, which I will send to you. It is the podcast episode I did with my friend James. I'm just going to look for it whilst I'm talking as well, so that people that are listening can also go and find that episode. So if you are looking to get a bit of, if you go and find, where is it? Okay, it is episode 112. Fear of getting started, making mistakes and people pleasing, with James from Final Push Fitness. So give that episode a listen. What I want you to do though, don't forget, in the members area you have access to some workouts that you can take to the gym with you. But I want you to walk in, I want you to go and pick up a pair of dumbbells, and I want you to pick 1 or 2 exercises from that workout. Go and find yourself a little quiet area and just go and do 1 or 2 exercises. And then you can put those dumbbells down and go to the treadmill, okay? And then the next time you go back, I want you to do the same again, do the same 1 or 2 exercises and maybe add another one, okay? Now, the thing I promise you is that no one is looking at you in the gym. They are far too interested in what they are doing, what they look like. And if anyone says anything to you or tries to help you, they are doing just that. They are trying to help you, okay? But just go in, find a little corner, 2 dumbbells, and do 1 or 2 exercises and build it up slowly. You can do it. We believe in you. Only managing 4 of my 5 a day, every day, but that's still better than last week. Does a salad constitute one of your 5 a day, and how much is needed? So yeah, salad can be included. Obviously salad vegetables are a lot more water. I want you to be like going for 2 big handfuls of salad, okay? So just adding in on the question of weekends. So weekends as above. I ate my usual breakfast every day and had air fried falafel. Proud of that. I certainly don't write off the weekend, which I used to. It's just been dinner that's been a struggle. I think I've addressed this, and I think you're probably being a little bit hard on yourself. But if you do feel like your weekends are causing you to, slow down your progress, where's the compromise? Okay, same person had questions about the scales, and this will be relevant to everyone. So this person hasn't found that their weight has gone down, and they weighed themselves this morning as well. So this is for everyone, okay? Weight fluctuations on the scales are normal. So if you are part of the at-home community, this is week 2. If you're listening to this because you're a regular listener of my podcast, this is still relevant to you. Weight fluctuations on the scale are normal. 2 weeks in to a new program, you might see the scales go down, but you might not. Mainly, the scales won't move or might go up because of water retention. Okay, so water retention could be PMS. It could be working out. When we work out, our body retains water to repair the muscles. It could be due to saltier food. This person had a takeaway on Saturday night, which will be very, very salty. They also had alcohol, cake, and pizza on. The takeaway was Saturday night, the alcohol, the pizza and cake was on Friday. All of that is quite carb heavy, and that will lead to water retention. Okay, and alcohol in particular can sometimes take 48 hours or longer to come out of your system. This person has also been ill. They spent most of yesterday in bed. When we're ill, it is a stress on our body. Stress causes water retention. Okay. If you've not slept very well, that's a stress on your body. It causes water retention. Your toilet habits. If your toilet habits are upside down, that is undigested food that hasn't left your body. It will cause scale fluctuations. Water intake. If you're hydrated, if you're dehydrated, that will cause scale fluctuations. So I want us to remember that the scales could go down consistently every day. For some of my clients that happens. For some of them, they see no change on the scales for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it drops down. For some of them, they weigh themselves every day and they record their lowest weight of the week, particularly if the weekend tends to be a bit more food heavy. Okay, so we need to remove this obsession with scale weight, and I've also recorded a couple of podcasts on that, so make sure that you listen to those. Okay, what else do we need? I need to know how to concentrate on me rather than being distracted with life. You have to make time for you. You have to plan time for you. You have to stick to that plan and not break promises for yourself. That's what you have to do. Okay. And then we've got one last question on maintaining healthy habits whilst traveling. And actually what I'm going to do with that one is create a separate podcast for that one, which I've done one previously, but I think specifically this is quite a long amount of traveling. So yes, we shall do that. Right. That was awesome. Well done everyone that checked in. This has been great. I hope that you are looking forward to smashing your week. Have an awesome rest of the day, and I will see you in our group. And don't forget, if you are not part of the at-home community and you would like to join, then I would love to have you. Mwah. Bye.